Hey there, Emily. Let's take a look at your new essays, all right? Okay, so weddings, money. Let's see. It is believed by many people that wedding parties are so significant. All right, careful with this. A lot of people keep writing wedding parties, but actually, wedding parties are the group of people who actually stand next to the bride and groom. So there are other ways that we can say this. We can talk about wedding celebrations. We can talk about wedding receptions. Um, we don't commonly call the actual party afterwards a wedding party, as strange as that might seem. Okay, so it is believed by many that weddings, you could have just made it even more general and that would have been ideal, are so significant that that it is worth investing a great deal of money in them. Okay, fine. In my opinion, despite the advantages as brought by this practice, it will lead to a big waste and new couples' financial problems. Okay, good. And I'm glad that you did it like this, talking about the positives and the benefits of it. The positives and the negatives about it. Good. There is no doubt that virtually every person holds their wedding in high regard, so that some of them do not mind pouring a huge amount of money into throwing an extravagant party. The central reason behind this is that the wedding is a once-in-a-lifetime occasion for most people, where they are blessed by their loved ones, we call them, and families with a happy marriage. Therefore, if everything, from the custom-made wedding dress to the performance of the invited band, were perfect, it would definitely, L-Y, contribute to creating a memorable memory? We don't really call it a memorable memory. We call it a memorable experience, probably a better way, for the bride and the groom. As a result, recent empirical research shows that 38% of unmarried people dream to have a luxurious wedding as the best gift to their spouses. Okay, so check it out. What you've really done here, I feel, is explain why people do this. You didn't really tell me what the benefits are. Does that make sense? So it's as if the question asked you, why do people spend a lot of money on weddings? So what are the benefits that they create this once in a lifetime occasion? It doesn't really follow, okay? So what are the benefits of spending a lot of money on the wedding? First of all, there's a whole industry behind it, okay? So you're creating jobs from wedding planner to florist to, I don't know, wedding accessories designer. So there's a whole industry, okay, which is supported by this practice. What's another benefit? A lot of people think that the more money you spend, the more respect you show to your loved ones and friends. And so it shows that you take your marriage seriously, and so this is something that all of your guests can feel, and so guests appreciate it. They feel that they are respected when they know that the couple has invested a lot of money in their wedding. Okay, because I think a lot of times we've heard the exact opposite, where if we go to an inexpensive wedding, there are a lot of negative comments made, like, they didn't really spend any money on that wedding at all. So it's a way to show respect, and people in turn feel respected and feel appreciative of the couple, okay, and wish them well. So these are some of the benefits. Some of them. I mean, I'm just, coming up with ideas to help you. I do feel like you basically talked more about the reasons behind this and not what the benefits are. All right, however, I would argue that the above upside will pale into insignificance compared to the downsides. Firstly, it entails squandering money. When arranging weddings, people tend to prepare a wealth of food, okay, normally accounting for 1/3 of the expenditure, to ensure their guests will be fed well. In reality, however, many of the cakes or candies on tables are kept intact or just eaten a little and end up being dumped, ed, into trash bins at the end of the parties. At the end of the parties, or the festivities, you could have said. Secondly, the fact that couples need to spend a fortune on fancy wedding cars or delicious delicacies in weddings not imposes on them an undue financial burden. That's why you say this here. Notably for those who are not affluent enough to afford a lavish one. A lavish one what? A lavish... The one isn't clear what you're referring to here. For instance, the latest data released by China demonstrates that the average number of... Now, the average cost of wedding expenses per couple is $20,000, which beyond doubt mostly puts a severe strain on many newlyweds. Careful with your typing here, that's a D, not a B. Okay, let's see. So basically you're telling me that there's waste. We throw out a lot of stuff, and that's a problem, and that it creates a strain on couples. All right, fair enough. Those are downsides. So let's see. In conclusion, although an impressive wedding tends to leave people an unforgettable memory, it will leave people with an unforgettable memory. It will mostly result in a huge waste and people's financial stress. All right, let me look at your previous paragraph again to see if you really did cover the benefits, because I told you before that I felt like it was just the reasons behind this. Definitely contribute to creating a memorable, we said a memorable experience here. I'm really on the fence about this, Emily. I mean, I get it. I know what you're trying to say, but you could see that I really had to look for it. And I definitely felt that you were more talking about the reasons and not really the benefits. And if you really think about it, you've only mentioned, even if we were to say that this is a benefit, it's just one, and they've asked you for benefits. So you're really supposed to talk about multiple benefits here. All right, so the result is that even if I can accept that this is a benefit, it's only one, and you are supposed to talk about more than one, and that's indicated here by this plural here, benefits. All right, some good elements here, a lot of nice writing. So let's just work on that task achievement part, okay? Okay, so, oh, don't worry about it. I don't care as long as I have the data. You don't have to apologize. It's fine. I've seen this before. I know it. I just need to refer to it. So thank you for including it. Okay. Let's see. This pie chart shows the changes of how students chose courses in New South Wales from 2014 to 17. It indicates that with students, all right, this is a little awkward, Emily. It indicates that students showed less preference for some science subjects. All right, so it indicates that while students showed less preference for some science subjects, most humanities enjoyed an increasing popularity during these 3 years. Now, I changed it. It's not present perfect. Present perfect would have to have some relevance to the present for this to work, or for us not to know the time period, but we do in fact, and we know that both these times are in the past, so there's no reason for you to use present perfect here. You should probably just be using simple past tenses. Maybe an occasion of using past perfect, but we'll have to see what you did. In 2014, geography was favored by students with the ratio being 27.7%, followed closely by maths, okay. The rest of the body of students mainly opted for physics and biology. Each had 21.2 and 24.1 students, while IT, along with history, was the least popular subject, only being taken by 1.2. All right, so did you include everything? Let's see. Okay, so you included 6 of the 8. I think you didn't talk about PE and chemistry, which means that you absolutely have to refer to them in the next paragraph. Let's see if you did that. However, 3 years, the next 3 years witnessed a significant difference in students' preferences, rising from 13.4 in 2014 to 24.1 in 2017. Biology became the course that most students took. At the same time, a robust increase was shown in history, which rose substantially by nearly 10 times from 1.2 to 19.4, and was ranked the third most favorable course in 2017. By contrast, there were decreases in math and geography to 12.2 and 18.7 respectively, whereas IT and physics did not show much difference. Overall, except for IT and physics, significant changes were found in other subjects preferred by students. Okay, so here's the good news. Everything's really nice. I liked it. It was clear. I could imagine what you were looking at even without having it. But can you guess what I'm going to tell you? It's task achievement, Emily. Why? Because you didn't mention those 2 topics. I was worried about it before, and it turns out you didn't mention them. You did not mention PE. You did not mention chemistry. Why is that important? Because basically all the information outside here, and that's true for all of your line graphs, all of your bar charts, that's considered key information. You have to at least mention them by name. So if I were to draw this pie chart based on your description, I would have an inaccurate pie chart because I only know about 6 of these subjects, and I don't know that these 2 exist. And that would give me an inaccurate picture of what's happening here. Like I said, you have to at least mention it by name. I agree with you that this 8.7 isn't something super, super important, although you could argue that it dropped to 1/3, approximately 1/3, 3 years later. But for me, what's even more significant is the fact that chemistry appeared as a preference here and yet completely disappeared in 2017. And I really think that that's an important piece of information because from 8 topics, from 8 classes, you then fell to 7. And that for me is a really important piece of information. So what's going to happen here is if you take a look at the band descriptors for task 1, you'll see that it says something about key pieces of information. So that'll give you an idea of how important this is. And even if just by name you mention them, like PE for example, if you didn't want to go into that detail, that's fine. But you did have to mention that it existed, and certainly chemistry, which wasn't even a category in 2017. All right? Keep those things in mind. Correct these essays, and let's meet back here with your next set. So good luck.